I'm not totally sure why you're pushing high ground right now. Roche is up. You guys don't have an Aegis. Guy doesn't have a BKB, so he's still still not at full fighting potential. That being said, this is what's happening. So how do we? This positioning is bad. You're just showing where you are. You're the blink initiator. You're the one that needs to surprise them. Running in like this, giving them free information. So you were definitely the one that had to hit towers early because you have retaliate, because you were the strongest one. You didn't care if they went on you. But at this point, your Void has the Lincoln Sphere. You have the Shadow Demon as a save. So it's not your job to go hit towers anymore. It's your job to bail your team out of a bad spot with a good stomp, a stampede, something like that. Because what happens if the Lion just like stuns both of you and then SF comes in like a triple raise? Void probably just dies, right? Sucks. I wouldn't use your hoof stomp right there. That might seem like a kind of a very nitpicky thing, but you have double edge, which costs no mana and it doesn't put anything on cooldown basically because it's 5 seconds. It would clear out the creeps just like the hoof stomp, but it would allow you to have utility. Because assuming that you don't have any good communication on your team, you don't really know when this Void is going to jump, so you need to have hoof stomp available to you. You don't know when they're going to jump, so you need to have hoof stomp available to you. This is actually your most important button, like in concert with your blink dagger. Blink dagger hoof is your most important thing to do at the moment.
Right.
And so putting this on cooldown means that when the Void does make this decision to go on the Shadow Fiend, you're like, fuck. I guess I'm just going to hit the tower because I don't really have anything else to do, because I don't have a way to counter initiate this Doom blinking in, which would be really big, or this Venge trying to swap the Shadow Fiend out, which would also be really big, or this Lion coming in with a finger, which would also be really big. Right? So, okay, we blink over, we try to kill the Shadow Fiend. He Shadow Blades away. When do we use Stampede? And why do we use Stampede? Oh, I guess you're just using it to kind of slow him.
I was hoping the team would kind of move the team in on him so he couldn't get away.
Okay.
Like me and the Void. But he ends up getting away anyway.
Right, and the reason that he's getting away is because Doom is here. So these guys need to run away from the Doom. So that's why they're not following you. Of course, you probably didn't notice that in the heat of the moment, and most people probably wouldn't. But it's just good to recognize that, like, you know, there was a reason that your team wasn't following you in with the Stampede. So I think, again, at this point, you're tanking the tower. You need to recognize all these things. You're tanking the tower. You're very low. You have a wand, but you should also probably start thinking about not diving their tier 4s because you're low. And so basically every time you go into a fight, you need to have like a method of attack and also a method of retreat. Like, very important to have a getaway, because not always will things go correctly. Like, I'm sure you're like, oh, cool, we can kill this SF. This is going to be great. Oh, shit, he BKB'd. Okay, now it's your plan B. Okay, your plan B is to fight him. That's working out well. Now he Shadow Blades. Oh, shit, what's your plan B? You don't have one, right? So now you're stuck in a place where you're low, you're vulnerable, and you're surrounded by enemies. And you should probably just be, like, running over here, because I mean, it would actually be great if this Doom chased you over here, because this Doom is at full HP and he has like all this shit to use. So at this point, he's much stronger than you are. So if you can take a stronger hero out of the fight by making him chase you out of the fight, that's really good for the outcome of the fight. It would also allow you to maybe reset your Blink Dagger if you ran over this way. Maybe he doesn't chase you, and in 6 seconds you have a Blink Dagger, which you can come back in and reinitiate again. But diving their tier 4s, it's kind of the same thing that we've talked about many times in like replay review, is that you're basically enabling this void to do dumb shit because he goes in and you're like, I got you, bro. Let's do this. Ride or die. Ride or die. And he's like, I made a good decision, which he did not, clearly. Game is insane. Okay, so that was, I mean, and again, all of this could be avoided if you simply had gone and gotten an Aegis first and put it on anybody. Because if you have the Aegis on your Void, then he can just go hit the tower, and you don't really care if he gets initiated on. You want him to be initiated on. If you put it on your Quap can just dive and be totally fine. But because you don't have an Aegis, you have to play like extra careful, and it was not careful enough, clearly. So that's definitely another big turning point in the game. Like, you guys were still stronger than them. This Slark sucks. He has nothing. How these fights should be going is this guy should not be building an Orchid. He should be buying a BKB. And he should just immediately be diving the Lion and the Vengeful Spirit every fight. Obviously, it's not happening. Your Void should be chronoing the Slark or the Shadow Fiend. That's his job. Morphling is useless because he ran a Morphling and is playing support Morphling. So he's basically doing no job, which means that you have to do more. And your Shadow Demon is being utility and saving and, you know, just doing Shadow Demon stuff. So if nobody's diving the backlines, then you need to dive the backlines. Because getting to the backlines, killing the people that are actually controlling the tempo of the fight with their stuns and their spells, like Lion and Venge do, is a crucial part to actually winning team fights. And because your Quap is dumb and not building a BKB and doing her job, somebody needs to do that job. Otherwise, you will never win a team fight unless somehow, miraculously, the Void chronospheres 5 Pyros, and then there's like a Sonic Wave on top of that, and he suddenly just gets a Rampage, which is probably not going to happen. So with that being said, I think I would prefer if you just went like BKB, and you just, every time a fight starts, you just blink as deep into it as possible. You press your BKB, you stampede, you run over to the Lion, you try and kill the Lion. You run over the Venge, you try and kill the Venge, and you just occupy their time.
Okay.
And that's how I would probably play these fights.